Good afternoon. Jeff Dawson from a bright, it's actually partly cloudy now, 93-degree Dallas, Texas. This is something bad. Oh my God, it's hot. Hey, I worked outside for 35 plus years. I've talked about it in past videos. I know what it's like to work in 100-degree heat every day. This is not hot yet. This is normal. Normal. If you watch the weather, you'd swear it's another apocalyptic blast. Now, yeah, that high that usually sits on Texas, Oklahoma, Eastern Arizona, we usually get it. In the last couple of years, it's kind of off to the southeast. It can stay there. So, yeah, we're seeing record temperatures in Southern California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico. Well, New Mexico definitely. But, we've been tracking weather for 175 years. That's it, 175 years. How would we react today if we had the earthquake that hit back in the 19th century that formed a lake in Kentucky and Tennessee where the Mississippi ran backwards? That's what formed the lake. And the only records that are available were some Indian scrawlings on walls that describe this event. If it hit today, it would be devastating. Would that be global warming? What did they call it back in the 19th century? Act of Mother Nature. That's what they called it. Okay. I'm not here to give a weather lecture because that's kind of pointless. But we've only been tracking weather for 175 years. No shit. And the Rangers just failed to maintain order. That's all there is to it. And from what I can tell, man, those coaches had to be going back and forth over a T-ball game. Give me a break. Anybody come to find, because let's see, I couldn't do the basics. I couldn't throw, I couldn't catch, and I couldn't hit. Other than that, I thought it was a great game. My dad, God rest his soul, he would take me in the backyard and he would throw me ground balls, but we were close together. And somehow I could see them. But since I was such a bad player, where do you put your worst player? You put him out in right field. Well, that was what a novel. Nothing to break it up, but joined in the mayhem over what? A little piss ant plastic thing was going on. That's how you handle that. That's umpiring 101. That's what I was taught. That's what I learned. Yeah, as a player, there were times where I didn't always agree with the umpire, but when they said, that's enough, settle down, that's enough. It was time to settle down. But today, you don't see enough of that. I've seen in one of the game and a bunch of asses being shown. So I'll tell you what. Here's what we're going to do. One more word from you. One more word from you, the first one I throw out, and then you're going to be the second one because you're going to be ranting and raving and complaining about it. Tear your goat-smelling ass and get out. I'm not putting up with it on my field. Somebody else might, but it won't be me. You understand we are here to play baseball. And if you can't behave yourself, get out. Hit the road, Jack, and don't come back because I ain't putting up with your shit. You understand that? And yes, I have told coaches that, and in those succinct and specific words. Now, they would call the league and complain about my language, but then I would explain what happened, and they would say, okay, we understand, but Jeff, please, don't cuss them out, which I would apologize for that. But we have to maintain order. We shouldn't have to. It's T-ball. My daughter called T-ball games years ago, made really good money. But she knew to keep order. My boys called baseball games and softball games, but they knew to keep order. You start telling parents they're getting thrown out and they start listening. And if you've never done that, Try it. You will get their attention. You don't have to listen to this crap. That's not what we're there for. And if your league won't back you, find a different league. Form your own like Chuck and I did so many decades ago. We are there to teach the kids how to play. In T-ball, we're trying to teach them how not to fall over and tie their shoes. That was absolutely a pathetic display. And the clock has stopped, and the game's, we can't play the game, but there's a time limit, so the clock has to be suspended. We finally get the issue resolved, which could have been handled in 2 minutes if they would have been available. But for whatever reason, they had other things to do. You're going to take that position on. You be available the whole time they're playing, especially if you have multiple fields playing across town. You have to have a phone and you have to be in communication. So if a problem arises, you can address it right then and there and not 30 minutes later, because if you have games behind that, then they're going to get backed up and everyone's going to be out there till midnight. And that's really going to piss off people. I've seen that happen too. Okay. But if you're one of those good dads that knows how to behave themselves at the baseball field and knows that you're there to help your kids learn the game and have fun, then you get a big thumbs up. If you're the other type of dad, turn in your man card, because all you're doing is ruining a great